Feels like they weren't going to come back.
That's true.
Feels like they would have been around this time. So I don't know. It feels like they don't.
Where do you guys want to go? You want to stick with Austin? Did he mention injuries?
He did talk about injuries today.
Is that a big story?
I mean, all this stuff is whatever. Like, it's all varying degrees, but we can listen to Matthew's clip on his injuries. Clip 1, please, Derek.
Yeah, it was tough, definitely. Physically, it was a very tough season. I don't, need to get into like the specifics of stuff, but got injured in training camp. Obviously wasn't feeling great throughout the first month or so of the season. Took some time off. Went to Germany, did all these things to try to feel better. Then just kind of in a place that felt like I could manage it. There was obviously some good stretches where I felt good. There were some stretches where I didn't feel very good. Definitely a tough year physically, but I'm confident with some time off and just going through my own process and stuff like that, and treatment and everything. I'm really confident I'll be back 100% next season, and there's nothing really to worry about.
Okay, so sorry.
Can you share with us what happened, or
yeah.
you like to be private?
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep it between myself.
Did it impact your ability?
It impacted your ability to shoot. It impacted everything. That's what he said.
Impacted everything.
So
I think it impacted a lot of different things for sure.
And then there's another part where, again, Luke Fox, who's coming up here, asked him, is there any reason, what is the reason that you won't tell us, basically? Which
Good
is
for you,
a
Luke.
very fair question,
Yeah.
and it's like, and his response was, because I can.
Do you think if he's going to go down the path of telling you how difficult it was or when it happened, that, you might as well just go all the way with the truthfulness? Now, somebody told me Chris Tanev came out and talked more specifically about
he said he
his
had
injuries.
sternoclavicular injury during the season where his sternum meets his clavicle, and it was a struggle, but it
How come it's easy for him to say that and Matthews can't do the same?
I don't know.
I mean, it's like, yeah.
By the way, I've
Matthews
had
made-
a sternoclavicular injury, and it is, I
I'm not
still
even
feel
gonna
it.
attempt to pronounce that.
Sternoclavicular. I still can't do push-ups without feeling
Chest.
it.
I can't do push-ups
Chest
for
meets
different
the
reasons than that.
Collarbone.
But, like, you think he's worried about getting targeted, I guess. That's what Matthew said. But, like, Tanev took 110 hits in the playoffs. They were targeting him for shit.
You know what Matthew sounds like to me? He sounds like your teenager who you're not sure what they did the night before, and they're trying to explain their night without giving you any specifics. They're going, yeah, we just went out with some friends, and we were downtown for a bit, and then we went back to Dave's house.
There's
All
this,
right, what'd you do?
There was this skunk in the area, and it's the smell of it stuck to my clothes for some reason. I don't know.
I've got bad allergies today.
My eyes are really red. It's killing me.
I think maybe it might be an injury that could hold a stigma.
Because it's like play-throughable type of thing? Is that what you think?
We did play through it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, for instance, and again, I know we've talked about this, but it's always been speculated, and I'll continue to speculate here. I don't know what his injury is. But if he has back issues, and he says I had back issues, then every time he goes through stretches, it will arise. He's got back issues. And when you got a shoulder injury and it heals in 4 to 6 weeks, it kind of disappears. But players with back issues
Just have back issues.
will always have back issues.
Yeah, that ain't going away.
They don't go away. And it keeps, and like Wendell's the perfect example, guys. Like, here's a guy that was great in Toronto, and they had back issues, and it shut down his career. Okay, and it never went away. And I don't know, maybe he's worried that if he comes out and publicly says that, then he's going to have this. He's got back issues the rest of his career.
Well, it also, that could actually affect his bottom line, right? Like if you're negotiating your next contract as a UFA or whatever it is, and people go, hey, he's got those back issues.
You're right.
Like
a guy with back issues.
Yeah.
back issues is like the biggest red flag.
The-
if you're
the
going to sign
worst.
somebody to a contract,
You're
it's
right.
like back issues.
You're right.
It's like knee and
And
back are the two things.
I would suspect that he had advice to say, Don't say it.
Mhm.
If he's got back issues,
Mhm.
I don't know what he has.
Well, who knows?
I had also heard that
Okay.
the wrist thing is like, you know, on and off and can flare up. And so, who
Okay,
knows?
we got a couple more minutes. We have not addressed any talk about Brendan Shanahan. That seems to be out in the open. I went
Where's that
on.
at?
I went on Sportsnet Central with Ivanka and Ken. I said I don't expect him back, but love your thoughts, guys.
I mean, I'm just not super informed. You know, like to me, it's logically, if you're talking about having seen through a plan to what you think might be the end of it, it didn't work. And if you'd like to go in a different direction, then sure.
Well,
but
what would you like to see? You like to see him back, or you think it's time to move on?
you know, and I know this sucks for radio. I'm not passionate about this. I think he is run a good organization, right? They consistently make playoffs. They haven't had scandals. He handles himself with professionalism. I don't think that they have reached the goal that the plan was set out to reach. And so, you know, you said yesterday, you talked about, you know, is MLSE just content with making playoffs or whatever? You think it does matter to them? Like, I think they would look at his tenure with some contentedness that it has gone well.
Yes, you're right.
And I think a lot of fans would say, but we're not any closer to what the goal is supposed to be. It's been 11 years. Let someone else try.
Where do you think Leaf Nation is at trying again, or
I think
re-signing Brendan Shanahan to a new contract?
regardless of how much of all of this failure in the playoffs is his responsibility, I think at this point now, he is sort of a face of it, a figurehead of it, if you will, where a lot of the Leafs Nation would be, if you brought him back another year or he signed another contract to be the president of the Leafs for a longer term, a lot of Leaf fans would have a lot of pushback to that just because it's just what it represents and the failures in big games and the lack of
And
seeming
acceptance
heart.
of mediocrity.
Exactly. But like, I don't know. You know, the grass is always greener here, boys. You could let Brendan Shanahan go. They bring somebody else and it may not work. I have no idea. But I think he probably will go. I can't imagine. I don't know. I'm the least informed person on this. But I'm just saying.
Well, you don't
from
need, you don't need to be. You just need to be.
I just think it's got to be over.
That's just your opinion.
I think it's got to be over. Like I can't imagine everybody just being like, yeah, let's do it again. I mean, if Marner's going, if Tavares is going, like it feels like a pretty natural trio.
The only thing,
to me.
the other thing we have to consider too is that there's a major shift in ownership now, and we know where that's heading with our bosses on the top floor here.
Yeah.
And if there's going to be a change in ownership, then this would probably be the best time to make other changes moving forward as well. I mean, are we going to keep hearing MLSE? Is there going to be a new name to the company? Like so many changes could happen based on these results.
Mm-hmm. I wonder, Kip, well, so you think it's likely that he would go?
I'm expecting changes.
Yes.
Yes.
And so if that happens, I am curious what effect that could have beneath it. You know, we often see, you know, a new GM wants to get his own head coach. Like Tree Living's done, I think, a pretty universally accepted great job here, right? Like, Carlo and Tana have remade the defense, and I think people are generally happy with the job he's done in just 2 short years.
Again, I'm like you. I have no knowledge. This is not inside information. This is not anything like that. But I have a sense that we could see the disappearance of the president of hockey ops. We could just see it to the point where Brendan, we've mutually decided to part ways, or we're not extending a new contract out, and we just see that position